everyone, welcome. I'm Abbie from Mindfit Yoga and I'm going to be guiding you through this 20-minute yoga flow. So we're going to start seated, so get yourself comfortable, give yourself a big shoulder roll back and down and gently close your eyes. So before we start moving, start flowing, just check in with yourself, check in with where your energy levels are at. So as we start moving and flowing through our practice, those energy levels are likely to change. So just notice when that happens. When you get a sudden burst of energy, go for it. When you notice those energy levels drop slightly, just take a rest whenever you need to. Being mindful through your practice, looking after yourself. Any injuries you're looking after, make sure you look after those areas. Let's switch our focus now to the breath. Let's introduce a slightly deeper breath now. So deepening your inhale and your exhale. Making that conscious effort to really fill the lungs. And then let it all go. So let's think about really expanding the ribs forwards, sideways and backwards. So really expanding the ribs, filling the lungs. Relaxing the shoulders and the hips with each of your exhales. So keeping that slow, steady pace of breath. And of your next breath, just gently blink the eyes back open. So we're going to find our way into child's pose now. So just shuffle your way a little bit further down the mat, coming on to knees and shins. So we're going to take the knees wide. So take the knees maybe as wide as the mat, maybe slightly wider, just seeing what's most comfortable for you. Hips back to heels, and then we're just gently walking the hands out in front, and we're going to relax the head in between the arms. So maybe forehead rests on the mat, maybe it's just nice and relaxed in between the arms. So I just want you to wiggle the fingers as far forwards towards the top edge of the mat as possible. At the same time, push your hips backwards. So you're going to feel a nice lengthening down the side of the body, a little bit of an armpit stretch as well. Hopefully you're feeling some opening, some stretch through the upper back and around the shoulders as well. So if you want to take this a little bit further, we're going to take a bit of a deeper side stretch. So walking both hands over towards the right edge of your mat. So you may just go to the edge, you may be able to go a little bit further off the edge of the mat onto the floor. So keep wiggling the fingers out, press your left hip to your left heel, and then push your left armpit down. We'll take a few moments here, breathing into the left side. With your exhale, relaxing, seeing if you can sink the chest a little bit lower. End of that breath, gently walking the hands back to center. Let's go straight for second side. So both hands over to the edge of the mat, or maybe a little bit further off the edge of the mat. So just keep walking the hands over until you get a nice opening through the right side body. Walking the fingers out and away from you, pushing right to hip, so right butt cheek to right heel, pressing the armpits down, letting the head relax. So keep expanding the ribs, keep letting all that breath go. Breathing into the stretch. End of that final breath, fully exhale, and then gently walking the hands back to center. Once you're back to center, just gently walk the hands back towards your knees. You're just going to shuffle the knees back towards each other, and then lift your hips off your heels. So bringing the knees underneath your hips. We're going to start to engage your butt cheeks, so your glutes. So you're going to start to squeeze your butt cheeks together. And notice when you do that, the hip bones want to move forward. So we're really opening out through the fronts of the hips, the hip flexors. What we're actually going to do is we're going to join it with some breath. So we're going to move with the breath. So we're going to tuck the toes underneath. On the inhale, send your bum towards your heels. As you exhale, squeeze your butt cheeks to push the hips forwards. And then we're naturally going to find that arch back position. If you want to, we can add some arms. So hips to heels, right hand grabs the right heel. That's on your inhale. As you exhale, push your hips forwards, and then you're going to reach the left arm back behind you. Inhale, we swap over, left hand to left heel. Exhale, push your hips forward, reach right arm back behind you. Inhale. Exhale, left arm reaches back. Inhale, hips to heels. Exhale, right arm back behind you. We're going to go one more either side. Inhale. Exhale, push hips forwards. Inhale. Final time, exhale. Bring your hips back. This is a nice bit, walk your hands back out in front of you, untuck the toes. Just give your hips a little sway side to side. Then we're going to do a little counter pose, which is called cat pose. So spread the fingers wide, push your hands down into the mat and round your back, chin to chest. So really squeeze the belly muscles, really stretching out through the back body. So think of really separating the shoulder blades, opening up that space in between. End of your next breath, relax that, and then we're going to come back to flat back, neutral spine. Tuck in the toes, hips back to heels, hover the knees, then extend the legs, coming into downward facing dog. So down dog, if you want to give yourself a little wiggle, a little shuffle around, go for it. Paddling the heels alternately up and down, giving the hips a little wiggle, maybe a bit of movement through the ribs or the shoulders, maybe just want to nod the head, shake the head. So making sure the head is nice and heavy in between the arms. So your gaze should be in between your feet or in between your knees, and your ears roughly in line with the biceps. Legs can be straight, or they may want to keep a little bend if your hamstrings are feeling particularly tight today. So we're going to introduce a full body flow. Take a full inhale forward to a plank position. Refine, adjust your plank if you need to. Exhale, drop onto the knees, and we're going to lower all the way down to the mat. Cobra, take an inhale, roll the shoulders back, lift the chest. Push your hips back to heels, then extend the legs, downward facing dog. So 4 movements within 2 breaths. We go again. Inhale forward to plank for 1. Exhale to lower down for 2. Inhale 3, roll shoulders back, lift chest. Exhale, push back 4, downward facing dog. So that is our knees down variation. If you want to step things up, just don't drop your knees. Inhale forward to plank, one more time. Exhale, drop your knees, or don't. We take this halfway hover, chaturanga. Inhale to cobra, otherwise upward facing dog, kneecaps lift. Exhale, push back, downward facing dog. Find your breath, and just let the breath go. Picking up the right foot, send it as high as it wants to go today. Keep both arms straight, both legs as straight as possible. Bend the right knee, draw it in really tight towards the chest. You're going to hover and hold. Then send your right foot underneath your left arm to the left edge of your mat. We're going to drop the left heel down, float the left fingers high. So we're going to open up the body. Take a full inhale. Exhale, can you send your hips higher? Just one more. As you exhale, float the left hand down, up on the back left toes, bring your right knee back in towards the chest, and then slowly release the right knee down to the mat. Bring the right knee directly underneath your right hip, and we're going to drop the left heel down, float your left fingers high. So here's a slightly nicer variation of that pose. So you can really work on opening out through the side body here. So bring the left arm up and over. So think bicep to ear. Push your left hip forwards. And then maybe you want to transfer a bit more weight into your right hand and hover the left foot. Final stage of the pose, bend the left knee, heel to bum. Reach that left arm back behind so you can catch hold of the foot. Kick the foot into the hand so the foot goes behind you. So we add another little arch back here. Wherever you are, give me all you've got for one more. Extend the arm and the leg. Foot down, hand down, knee down. So back onto hands and knees. Give your hips a little sway, a little wiggle. Tuck the toes, hover the knees. Hips high, heels low, back to down dog. Again, maybe catch your breath. Have a wiggle. Inhale forward to your plank. Exhale to slowly lower down. Find your flow. Cobra or up dog as we take a big inhale, open chest. Exhale, push your hands into the mat to send your hips high, down dog. Pick up the left foot, send it high. Try and keep both arms straight, both legs as straight as possible. And then bend the knee, bring the knee in towards the chest, shoulders over the wrists, then left foot goes underneath your right arm. Drop the right heel down, float the right fingers high. Take a full breath. Let breath go. Push down to lift. Float the right hand down, up on your back right toes. Left knee comes into chest, and then slowly release it down. So left knee, rearrange if you need to, directly underneath your left hip. Drop the right heel down, then we're going to float the right fingers high. So this is more focused on opening up through the side body. We're going to bring right arm up and over. bicep to ear. Maybe lifting the right ribs a tiny bit higher. If you're up for it, transfer a bit more weight into your left hand, maybe hovering the right foot. Final stage, bring your right heel to your right butt cheek, reach your right arm back behind you, catch hold of the foot. Kick foot into the hand, push your hips forwards. Choosing whichever variation suits you best today. End of that breath, extend the arm and the leg. Foot down, hand down, knee down. And again, just give yourself a little wiggle, a little sway of the hips, shake off the shoulders. Back into down dog. Tuck the toes, hips high, heels low. Find your breath. Let the breath go. So you're going to look forward, space in between the hands. You're going to take little baby steps, one big step or a little bunny hop jump forwards. So you're going to prepare on the toes, bend the knees, push your ribs back to thighs, look forwards. You're going to lift your hips high to float your feet forwards. 3, 2, 1, go. Feet line just behind the hands. We all meet in forward bend. So bend the knees, drop the arms, drop the head. Take a moment to nod the head, shake the head, wiggle the shoulders. Whatever's feeling nice for you here. Then we're going to take our forward bending slightly further. So you're either going to place your hands on the fronts of the shins, grab the backs of the calves, maybe backs of ankles, or you can take your peace grip, first 2 fingers hook round the big toes. You decide whatever's best for you. Keeping the legs super straight, so if your hamstrings are quite tight, just lift the body up slightly higher. Take a full inhale to lengthen your arms, legs and spine. As you exhale, see if you can guide your belly a little bit closer in towards the thighs. Go again. Lift and lengthen, create space in the body. As you exhale, close off that space, go into that space. 2 more. Inhale. Exhale. 1 more full breath. Exhale. Relax the arms, bend your knees, give yourself another little wiggle. Now we're going to heel toe the feet slightly wider. Spin your toes out and heels in. We're going to come down to what we call Hindu squat. So making sure the hips are as low as they'll go. Don't worry if your heels are lifted or not. It doesn't really matter too much. We're just going to have a little sway. So hands in front of you. Just sway over onto one side, then the other side. Just have sort of a little movement, little sway here. And then slow the swaying down. See if you can bring yourself into stillness. You may be here. Maybe bringing the hands to prayer, lifting up through the chest. 3 breaths. Inhale for 1. Exhale. Inhale 2. Exhale. And inhale for 3. Let the breath go. So we're going to come to sit now. So either just help yourself down with the hands or no hands, extra challenge. Slowly lower your bum down and then relax. Cool. So coming to find a seated position. Give your arms a little wiggle, legs a little wiggle if you want to. So all we're going to do is sit with a straight spine. So we're going to come to this sort of L-shaped position with the body. So if your hamstrings are feeling particularly tight today, just pop a little bend through the knees. Otherwise, you're good to go with legs straight. So you want to be able to lengthen the spine. So if your hamstrings are quite tight, they're pulling, it's going to pull on the lower back and you're going to round. So make sure you have a bend through your knees so we can lift and lengthen up through the spine. Then we can work the legs in a moment. So just roll the shoulders back, place the hands just slightly in front of your hips. Chin tucks in towards the chest. So we've got that lengthening through back of neck. And we breathe here. Take a full inhale. As you exhale, relax your shoulders. Inhale. As you exhale, so you can send your heels a bit further forwards. Inhale. Exhale. Flex your feet stronger. This time as you exhale, you're going to hinge from the hips. So keep that flat back, just tilt forwards. You probably won't go very far, but you'll definitely feel it. If you're quite open through the hamstrings, walk your hands a little bit lower. You may be able to take that peace grip again around your big toes, or maybe just grab hold of the outside edges of the feet. Otherwise, we're here, we're breathing. Keep pulling the toes back. Sort of feel like you're lifting the ribs away from the hips and then sending your ribs on your chest forwards. So remember, this is a forward bending, not downwards bending, so make sure we are going forwards. Take 1 more full breath where you are. And slowly bring yourself back up to sit. Give your legs a little wiggle out. So we're gonna check where the knees are. You're gonna bend the knees and place the feet roughly where the knees just were. So the knees are together, feet are together, squeezing together. So we're gonna take the left arm, wrap it around both shins, right hand goes behind, take an inhale, sit as tall as you can. As you exhale, gaze back over your right shoulder. Inhale, squeeze knees. Exhale, gaze back further. One more. Gently release, bring yourself back straight for the second side. So right arm wraps around both shins, left hand goes behind you. So lift and lengthen. Remember, ribs away from hips. Inhale. Exhale, pull that left shoulder back, gaze back over left shoulder. Inhale, sit taller. Take your chin further over the left shoulder. One more time. And then float your way back to center. Now we're going to just let the knees drop out away from each other. So soles of the feet will be together. Try not to move the feet too much. They want to be in a comfortable-ish position here. So that just means not too tight in towards you and not too far out either. Resting the hands on the lower shins. Lifting and lengthening up through the spine. Take a full inhale. As you exhale, we're going to bend the elbows, bring your ribs forward. So maybe the elbows can rest on the inner thighs. So similar to what we were doing in our forward bending with legs straight, you want to lift the ribs away from hips, then take your ribs and your chest forwards. If it's helpful, sticking the chin out to take it even further. Making sure we're not rounding the back and lifting shoulders, drop down, lengthen. Seeing if we can ease the knees a tiny bit lower with each of your exhales. Remember, we're relaxing with each exhale, which means maybe we can go a tiny bit further. End of your next breath, gently release, come out, help the knees back in together. Just shuffle your bum a little bit further forward, so we're going to find our way to the mat, so just make sure you've got plenty of room behind you. Extend the arms, ground down through your feet, round the back. Squeeze the belly and then slowly, gently, gracefully, calmly, coming all the way down, back to the mat, to the floor. So once you're down on the mat, bring your heels a little bit closer in towards your bum. So toes are pointing forwards, just check they're not pointing out. Arms rest comfortably by the sides of the body, and then just slightly tuck the chin in towards the chest. So preparing for our bridge pose. Take a full inhale, do nothing. Exhale, let the breath go. Next, inhale, push down into your feet. You're going to peel the lower back off the mat, so your bum, your lower back lifts. You'll start to notice the ribs lift, the chest comes a little bit closer towards the chin. So a slight squeeze of your inner thighs, squeeze your butt cheeks together, lifting the hips a little bit higher, one more, and then slowly lower back down. So we're going to go again. So this time, if you want to, we're going to lift one leg at a time. So we're going to lift the right leg for 2 breaths, left leg for 2 breaths. We're going to have a breath with both feet flat, and then we'll come back down. So 5 breaths altogether. If you need to come back down before that, so be it, find the mat. Take a breath before you start. Inhale. Exhale. Next, inhale, push down. Start to tuck tailbone, peel the spine off the mat. Find your bridge pose. Right foot lifts. Take a big inhale. Exhale, hold it. Inhale. Exhale, lower down. Swap sides, left foot lifts. Inhale. Hold it, higher, and release it down. Last big breath together, squeeze butt cheeks, lift the hips, and when you're ready, slowly make your way back down to the mat. So once your bum is down to the mat, just let everything go. Gently draw the knees in towards your chest. Give yourself a hug, a squeeze, maybe a little rock, gentle rock side to side or forward and backwards. And then once you've had a few little rocks, maybe a little circle of the knees, we're going to rock and roll up and down. So catch hold of the backs of your thighs. So your rock and rolls are going to start small and then going to get a little bit bigger. So maybe taking 2, 3, 4 or 5 to come all the way up to a comfortable seated position. So find a comfortable seat. Taking the hands either side of you, so really push down into the floor, into the mat, either side. So when you push down, you feel this lift of ribs away from the hips. So feel that lift, find it. Then we're going to reach the arms high. Give me a big inhale, hands meet at the top. And then exhale, hands to heart center, to your chest, and bow the head to the hands. Full big breath to finish your practice. Inhale. And then let it go. Gently lifting the chin, blinking the eyes back open. Thank you so much for joining me today. Thanks for allowing me to guide you through your practice. Hope you're feeling a little bit more energized, a little bit more open through the body, and I'll catch you next time. Thanks, everyone. If you enjoyed this session, be sure to check out one of my other sessions on screen now.